All right, Rob, I think you're going to bring in your powerhouse
Yeah,
panel.
thank you very much, Rachel. The panel is back with us. We start with former Nevada State GOP chairwoman and Republican strategist Amy Tarkanian. Project 21 National Advisory Board member Christopher Arps is here, and senior contributor for The Federalist Benjamin Weingarten here as well. Guys, good morning. Nice to have you back on. We have got a lot to cover, but I do want to bring this up because it's going to be, you will see this throughout the day and maybe as we head into the weekend. If you watch Newsmax, you will definitely see this. If you read The Federalist, you'll definitely see this. But I thought this was fascinating, Benjamin. Hunter Biden, we're now finding out that Joe Biden did show up at a dinner that Hunter arranged in Georgetown at a ritzy restaurant in the D.C. neighborhood there when Joe Biden was vice president. And at this meeting, a lot of very, very powerful people. And it turns out that right after Joe Biden left office as vice president, Burisma, the Ukrainian company where Hunter was on the board, they cut his pay. In fact, when you're on the board of a company, you have to sign a document that indicates that you are aware that your pay has been cut. And his pay was cut 1 year after he was out of office. Then the next year, they cut it even more. What does that tell you?
Yeah, look, there continues to be no answer from Joe Biden, no clear, logical answer as to what he knew, when he knew it, what he was involved in with respect to his son's apparently sketchy financial and so-called business dealings, in particular with those representing countries and oftentimes associated with oligarchs or worse in China, Russia, Ukraine, and beyond. And there was a Senate report put out last year that laid out in very stark detail the nature of these relationships with our foreign adversaries.
Right.
And it creates, if nothing else, the absolute appearance of corruption and influence peddling from Joe Biden, whether or not 10% was ultimately kicked up to the big guy as a consequence of those dealings. So when the heck is Joe Biden going to have to answer for the fact that his son was involved in all these dealings and he apparently was he was involved with some of these conversations while he was the vice president of the United States? It's a national security disaster. The American people need answers, and he can't just say, come on, man, or dismiss it, or, no, my son was troubled.
He can't, but much like the origins of the coronavirus story, the left, Chris, has totally avoided this story. So this was all because of Hunter Biden's laptop that, boy, I wish he didn't leave. I bet he wishes he did not leave at the Mac store in Wilmington, Delaware. At this dinner were Ukrainian business partners of Hunter's, Russian officials, and a Kazakhstani business partner, business associate. It's not like, you know, Joe was getting together with a couple of Hunter's college buddies in Georgetown to have dinner and a couple of drinks while he was vice president. Hunter Biden is a man of no particular skill or qualification to be on the board of a Ukrainian energy company. And it's so clear that he was trading on his family's name, and he was trading on the fact that his dad was vice president, and he was offering that access to power in exchange for a whole lot of money.
Yeah, it's very obvious, and it seems that the media has been silent on his laptop. I think that's part of the reason why this investigation with COVID was blocked by the administration, is because I think they have that Russia and China and a lot of these governments have a lot of intel on him, and I think that's the reason why it was blocked, because Hunter Biden is a huge liability for the administration, and we have a compliant media that's covering up for it.
That's a great point. The media is completely compliant. That's why Joe Biden is yet to face a question about this in 4.5 months' time in the Oval Office. According to Alejandro Mayorkas, Amy, the border is most definitely closed. Take a listen.
The president could not have been clearer in his articulation of this administration's position, nor could I have been clearer and continue to be so, which is the border is closed.
It's almost like you're watching Saturday Night Live, isn't it? If this is Joe Biden's closed border, what's it going to look like when he reopens it?
I feel like I need to go back and maybe open up Webster's dictionary, because maybe I'm confused. I'll go ahead and I'll take the blame. Maybe I'm confused on the definition of what closed means, because this is definitely mixed messaging. It almost seems like, and this is just a theory, it almost seems like that they are wanting to create more chaos than they were actually handed, so then that way they can actually tell this news story and pivot and point to Donald Trump and say, oh, no, it was him. It was all him. Look how horrible it was. when we came in and we had to clean up after him, when in fact they're actually the ones who were creating more of a problem.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of these stories that, I think so here we are, day 65. Kamala Harris, 65 days ago, tapped to manage the crisis down there. We all know she hasn't gone. She hasn't held a press conference talking about Benjamin. Yesterday, check that, 2 days ago, according to the Border Patrol, drug smugglers are now using drones. And at first they noticed just, increased drones. They said they thought that they were media drones. Drug smugglers are sending up drones to find weaker spots in the border so they can send coyotes over and then back. How disturbing is that? First time that's ever happened, they say.
Yeah, and you look at the numbers, and the rise in terms of number of folks rushing the border is just catastrophic for America. Politico had a report, actually, I believe last night out, saying that border agents are finding that there are individuals coming from all over the world as a consequence of the border being open, not just our neighbors to the south as well. So what are the national security implications of that? And of course, the drug smugglers are essentially starting to adopt the tactics of a Hamas or Hezbollah. It's the same thing.
Benjamin, can you comment on that, by the way? I just have a question about that. So yesterday we found they'd apprehended several people from Romania. We know that Middle Eastern countries, people from those countries have been Are they literally booking flights to Mexico City, for example, and then making their way to the border? Is it as simple as that? How are they getting there?
Yeah, according to the reporting, it's as simple as this. They know that our borders are wide open. Consequently, they're a magnet for people all over the world who'd love to come to the U.S. for myriad reasons. I guess some admirable and aspirational, and some horrible from the perspective of American national interest, from Europe and even beyond as well. And of course, while we're still dealing with a pandemic, I mean, leave that to the side for a second.
Right.
I think the remarkable juxtaposition is that they claim the border is closed. It's obviously not. It's wide open, and this administration has been a magnet for it. And then at the same time, Secretary Mayorkas's Department of Homeland Security has said it's engaged in a whole-of-society effort to target domestic violent extremists in this country. You can be damn sure they really mean that, but when it comes to the border and illegal aliens coming across it, of course, it's completely hands-off.
Yeah, and of course, people want to come to the United States. I get that, but there are ways to do it legally. But in Joe Biden's America, at least what I've seen in the last 4.5 months, it's no longer illegal to cross the border illegally. Panel, we'll pick this back up on the other side. Looking forward to it.